Hey, folks, and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Wednesday, December 3rd. The Pittsburgh Steelers had their first practice of Week 14 at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex today on the South Side. I am on my way there, along with Ed Thompson, bringing you all kinds of stuff from Steelers practice and more on that, injury reports, all that good stuff on Afternoon Drive. Me and Zachary Smith right here, 6 p.m. in your YouTube feed and on your audio platforms. I had a whole idea for today's show, and then two things happened. One, this got backed up by work stuff this morning. And then two, LC Greenwood was announced as a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026 this morning. And I just needed to stop everything and talk about that because LC Greenwood is, in my opinion, one of the greatest snubs all time in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He has been eligible for 50 years, 50 years. LC retired in 1981, eligible in 1986. And he has never even been a finalist. This man was not just a starting defensive end on a 4-time Super Bowl winner. He was a 10-year starter, a 2-time All-Pro, a 6-time Pro Bowler. He's fourth in Steelers history in career sacks, and is absolutely, for me, the kind of player that belongs in Canton. And to me, there have been many hits throughout this process. Of course, first and foremost, LC passing due to kidney failure, 2013. Then there was the 2020 class where they expanded the Hall of Fame, Centennial class, I believe they called it, trying to correct some of the backlog of historic players that belong in the Hall of Fame. Donnie Shell was part of that class, and LC Greenwood was not. I can remember talking to Donnie throughout that year about that process and how badly he wanted LC to be recognized, along with the rest of those 1970 Steelers teams. And then the second was a few years ago, Pro Football Reference put out a huge project that detailed broke down the sacks. Before the sack was an NFL official statistic in 1983, which of course was LC's entire career. They went back box score by box score and recorded all of the sacks of all of the pre-1983 players. That is how we know that LC Greenwood is fourth in Steelers history. And I really thought when that happened, that total, I believe he has 78 career sacks in 10 seasons as a starter. I believe that would open some eyes. And it did not. And now finally is a finalist. And I got to be honest, I mean, look, I am sitting here as someone who's saying LC Greenwood should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame. It is not going to be an easy vote. He is, with the way the process now works for the Hall of Fame, there are 3 seniors finalists, 1 coach and 1 contributor. Of those 5 historic finalists, or I guess whatever you want to call them, non-modern era players, you can only vote for 3. I think all 5 of those guys should be in the Hall of Fame. In addition to LC Greenwood, it is former Bengals quarterback and briefly Steelers quarterbacks coach Ken Anderson and former 49ers running back Roger Craig are the 2 players. The coach is none other than Bill Belichick, the very greatest to ever do it. He is 100% in the Hall of Fame. No question, no notes. I don't even know why they're bothering to vote. And then Robert Kraft is the other, the contributor, the current Patriots owner. Now, I think Robert Kraft is a bit of a polarizing figure. He's just someone who's been somewhat unlikable around the league to some. He also had that notorious massage parlor incident a few years ago. And while the Pro Football Hall of Fame does not have a morality clause the same way that the Baseball Hall of Fame does, certainly I think that's going to give some people some pause before voting for, especially when you're talking about a non-player, someone whose contributions are entirely in the public sphere. Maybe Robert Kraft gets in, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Bill Belichick is going to get in. I think all 3 of those players belong in the Hall of Fame. I would vote for Ken Anderson, LC Greenwood, and Roger Craig if I could. And to me, it's going to be very difficult to narrow that list down to just 2. So we'll see. We'll see if LC gets in. I strongly believe that he deserves to. We'll see if the voters agree. That is now the next step. Is it the full Hall of Fame committee will vote and at the Super Bowl, and he will be the one. Or there will be at least one of those 5, and up to 3 of those 5 will be selected. So the threshold is an 80% vote. If more than 3 receive 80%, then it is the top 3. If no one gets to 80%, then it is the top 1. So at least one will go, with minimum of 3. And then that gets you to a total of 4 to 8 total finalists, with the same process playing out. At least 3 modern era players and a maximum of 5 modern era players from that list. That list of finalists has not been released yet. Hines Ward is still eligible in this class. He is a semifinalist. We'll see if he advances to the finalist stage or not. That's all I got for this morning. Just saw that news and was very pleasantly surprised. LC didn't even make it to the semifinalist stage last year, so a big jump up for him. And I hope that he is able to. I hope that this is the year that they're able to get him in. And I want to do a little bit more background on LC Greenwood between now and that Hall of Fame vote in February. It's going to be tough. I'm really busy this time of year, as evidenced by this being a morning podcast at probably coming out around 12:30 p.m. But I'd like to do some more background and just digging into his history, because I think it's a story that probably for a lot of you, for a younger generation, are not really as well aware of. Came from a small town in Mississippi, went to Arkansas. Pine Bluff, was a 10th round pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, now on the verge of the Hall of Fame. All right, that's all for this morning. Like I said, more about the 2025 Steelers, me and Smitty on Afternoon Drive today. I got a bunch of questions I want to get to, plus we'll have the injury report, updates from practice, et cetera, et cetera. Talking to Aaron Rodgers today as well. Until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.